Are returning to normal at the state capitol as Carson City is digging out from a winter storm that caused the legislature to end early on its opening day and then start late for day 2 today.
So the early release and then the subsequent late start today called for by Governor Steve Sisolak. He did sit down, though, with our Politics Now team earlier today. Patrick Walker is live in Carson City with more on what the governor had to say. Patrick?
Well, Denise and Brian, you're talking about all that weather down in Las Vegas. We have been getting hammered up here, just really letting up about 2 hours ago. And let me show you, the state crews have really got to get all the credit. They're doing just a yeoman's work on this, getting the sidewalks and everything cleared, and now just piling up mountains of snow that will sit here and probably be here for quite a while now. But getting back to Governor Sisolak, however, when we talk about his job, he's only been on the job for just about a month, and already it's been busy as the chief executive of the state.
It's been a lot, and I'm enjoying it.
While Governor Steve Sisolak's biggest concern this week has been a powerful northern Nevada snowstorm, there have been several other pressing matters in the first few weeks he's been in office. Chief among them, a secret shipment by the Department of Energy of weapons-grade plutonium to the Nevada National Security Site.
I understand that they're claiming there's some security involved with it, national security and whatnot, but I think it's incumbent upon the federal government to at least let us know what's going on.
Sisolak says everything is on the table when it comes to trying to prevent up to 6 more tons from potentially coming to the Silver State.
And I certainly hope that's not coming here, but there's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing what's already there. And it's a big concern. I mean, it's a concern that it's being stored there. It's a concern about how it got there, the travel route, and how safe that is when it's being transported.
Republican Assembly Leader Jim Wheeler also has been critical of Sisolak's promise to not raise taxes during the next 2 years. Sisolak plans on funding an $8.8 billion biennial budget based on increased revenues and preventing some existing taxes from sunsetting or expiring, which Wheeler calls a tax increase.
So some of the opposition to that want to propose cutting Meals on Wheels or cutting money that we're putting into education or mental health or any of the other programs. We decided to step up the funding, let them tell me what they want to cut.
All right, so Steve, we conducted that interview together, and maybe a crack in the armor there. There has been all of this talk about bipartisanship and getting along. It's day 2. Is this the crack in the armor?
Well, I don't know necessarily if that's the case. I mean, there's been a long-time debate over whether or not extending a tax that was going to expire is a new tax, which means it will require a 2/3 vote. Governor Sisolak thinks that because the amount doesn't change, then it's not an increase, and therefore you don't need a 2/3 vote. But he kind of reframed the issue, as you heard in the interview, by saying, look, if you don't want to vote for it, what are you going to cut? And he named some things there that I don't think anybody really wants to cut. I still believe, though, that the governor is either going to find 2/3 to extend that tax just to be safe, or he'll find the money somewhere else.
He only needs 1 Republican vote to do so.
Right, 1 Republican vote in the Senate.
And talking also briefly, you asked the governor about collective bargaining, something that you heard him talk about back in 2017. But is there any time frame that you could see that for state workers?
And the reason I asked that was because he said in his State of the State speech that he wants that to happen in future years. So when I asked him today, I said, is this something that can get done this session? He said, no, probably not this session. It'll probably take more time than that, which is in a way good for him because the increased cost will not be burdened on the state this time around. But I think now that the governor is in a state office as opposed to local office, he doesn't want to lose good employees from the state to local government because they get paid more.
Well, if you've ever been up here to Carson City, there is a fire that goes on across the street at one of the restaurants. That's looking really good right now, so I think we're going to head over there. For now, reporting live in Carson City alongside Steve Sebelius, I'm Patrick Walker. We'll send it back to you.
All right, stay warm, gentlemen.